Hello everybody, welcome in. How are we all doing today? We have, as you can hear in the background, a race about to get underway. So, welcome in everybody. First and foremost, on behalf of the Gran Turismo racing community, we'd like to say welcome to the first round of our Redbull Junior Championship. So this will be an 8-week championship season, and this is a smaller championship than our Group 3 championship that we seen last week in broadcast by myself, GT45 Gaming, and the other great broadcaster here, Nolander Gaming. Today it will just be myself here in the booth, GT45 Gaming, and we're going to be doing some Redbull Junior coverage. So this again is the first round, and today we are going to Italy. It's going to be Lago Maggiore. This is one of my favorite racetracks personally as a racer. When I get an opportunity to race here, I absolutely love this racetrack. It's very mid-high speed, flowing, technical. Just a great racetrack. It provides great racing, lots of opportunities for side-by-side passing here. However, the series has some curveballs. We'll get into that shortly. So it is a 3.6 mile racetrack, 5.8 kilometers at 17 left and right-hand corners. It is a tarmac road surface. It's an original circuit, meaning that it is a fictional racetrack produced and designed by Polyphony Digital from Gran Turismo 7. And again, it's a doozy. I love this track. And has an elevation change of approximately 243 feet. And of course, all this information does go to Special Operations Administrator Ten Tenths Miss Devious for all the hard work that she does with these track maps and all this extra information that she digs up, even on the tracks that don't actually exist. It is amazing at how the research team can come up with all this information that really does actually relate to where these tracks are essentially, air quotes, located worldwide. So in this case, it is Italy. Now let's talk about the series a little bit. Well, that is not right, chat. We're going to work a little streamer magic right in front of your eyes. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright. Welcome back. So again, I'm the host for the new GT45 Gaming. This is a family-friendly broadcast, so the kiddies are most certainly welcome to watch this. We're going to see two races here in the Redbull Junior Series. We're going to see a 5-minute qualifying run leading into a 30-minute race. That 30-minute race will require a pit stop. So there is there is a mandatory pit stop required. And what the obligations of that pit stop are, I'm a little unsure of myself, as I just have not brushed up on all the full series details, and that's on me. However, what's going to happen at the end of race number 1 is our top 5 drivers are going to get added a championship ballast weight to the Red Bull Junior cars. So depending on which of the top 5 positions you end up in will depend obviously on how much weight you're going to add to your car before race 2. So in between the races, the crews will be adding lead weights essentially in certain locations underneath these cars to add that weight as required by race control. That's all communicated in between the scenes, and then that will, I do believe, determine also the starting order of race number 2, which will then be a 20-minute sprint race, no mandatory pit. It is a full send on the edge of your seat, action-packed race for the whole 20 minutes with these Redbull Juniors. It's going to be interesting. We just had a massive update to physics, tires, suspension, and a little patch to something that was essentially broken with the big update that they fixed. And the game has changed twice essentially in the last week, so the drivers are still adapting to those changes. So it's going to be very interesting to see who is ultimately going to finish on top of the podium here today. And I think it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game right now. Whoever basically gets the best handle on the car at this point has the best shot currently at winning one of these races right now in any organization or any league that you're running in. Today, of course, it is the GTRC here. So let's get rid of all the visual distractions and let you guys take a look at what's going on out on track here. Again, these guys are just under practice conditions. Qualifying will be starting here in roughly about 2 minutes time. So again, welcome in, and should be interesting to see how this is all going down. So let's see who is out the paddock and got their cars out. We have 10 Tenths Pigums here. The 2-minute warning just coming from race control there, actually. Currently on the track in practice. That doesn't necessarily mean fastest in the field, but out of the 5 drivers that are currently running laps, he is the fastest out of the 5. We have Mike 1972, a recent addition to Team Rad Racing here as well. We got Superboy here, another new addition to Team Rad here as well. We've got 10 Tenths Subi Mark here. We've got Tintin Finch. Tintin Fin. We're just going to call him Tintin. Tintin it is, and newly acquired Team Rad driver here as well, if I'm not mistaken. We've got Hair Razor here, Doug Barrow here, both from Team Rad. We've got the Damn Cat here from Team Rad. Very heavy Rad presence here today. We've got Type R, who is representing Type R, independent driver here. We've got 10 Tenths Bar 27 here. We got 10 Tenths J Set here. We also have a couple of drivers not out of in behind pit lane here, so they just have not put the cars out into the pit lane to get ready for the race yet. They're doing it in behind closed doors, so nobody can see what their strategy is. And we got some pretty great looking liveries out on the racetrack. We'll get into that a little bit more as racing kind of goes on here today. However, this is a little bit of a different style formatting of racing today with the dual sprint format, essentially. 30-minute race is not really considered an endurance race by any stretch. It is just a mid-tier sprint race, really, essentially. That's pretty typical of what we see in real-world racing. Is right around that 40-minute mark is a sprint race. So we are sprint racing here today, and it should be interesting. So the word just comes down from race control here. The driver's going to get 3 laps total. So they're going to get an out lap and 2 hot laps for qualifying here today. And that works out to about 6.5 minutes of qualifying. Obviously, the tracks do dictate sometimes how long qualifying goes. And again, this is about a 3.6 mile track, so about 6 kilometers long, just short of. And we're requiring a little bit of extra time to get these drivers around 2 times. So we got the race control changing the lobby settings here right now, and things are about to get very interesting. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about podium interviews actually for this series with the dual sprint race format this season. So I think for today we're just going to ixnay that part of our broadcast out. And I'll have a sit down with the administration team and behind the scenes here at the GTRC after the race this week, and we'll sit down and figure out what our best approach for our podium interviews for our Red Bull drivers is moving into round 2 in a couple weeks' time. So quali starts now. All right, so that means big screen time for all our folks at home. Let's get it going and make sure everything is working real quick here before we get too distracted by the action that is most certainly going to happen here on the race. So welcome in, whether you're here on the GT45 Gaming Facebook or YouTube channel, and welcome in if you're watching on the GTRC YouTube channel. Like coming in from David Duncan over on Facebook. Appreciate you, my guy. Hope you're doing well. Apologies to the viewers as well here at GT45 Gaming, my supporters, my followers. We've been a little lackluster on the content for the last little while here. We're working back into it. Real life is real life, and I've had to put the page second to what's happening in behind the scenes in real life right now. Everything's okay. Just cost of living and some transitional changes that we've had to go through, and we're kind of got all that sorted back out. So we're going to start seeing some more consistent content coming back to the page. But with that being said, we are still in the process of purchasing our new PC here as well for the page. So we are still working on some older dying equipment here. So we're going to do our best here, but we have some big things happening here from GT45 Gaming. We'll save that for another day, as we're here on behalf of the GTRC But it's a great community here. I love these guys, and we definitely love bringing the Saturday afternoon races here in North America for everybody at home. We should almost start calling this Saturday morning sim racing cartoons here, man. I mean, we're almost in that time range. Yeah. You can find GTRC on Sim League Pro as well. This is new to this season. The drivers and the league has moved over to Sim League Pro. It's a host website, so you just go to www.simleaguepro, all one word, .com, all lowercase. It'll take you right to the site. You just sign up with a user account. You can either do it through your Discord server account if you have one, or you can sign up through an email, of course, which is probably the best course of action, I think, in the future if you use other platforms like ACC, iRacing, etc. You can find Sim League Pro there. You just go into Sim League Pro, look for communities, GTRC, the Gran Turismo Racing community, join the community, and then from there you can see any championship details, events, anything that's coming up here from the community on Sim League Pro. Register up in through the races there. You can also get into the Discord server through Sim League Pro here for the GTRC. So with all that being said, that's a mouthful, right? I hope everybody's taking notes. It's a lot to take in. With that being said, if you're interested, the Redbull Junior series is open to all. This is an open series for the most part. You just have to make sure that you check in so we can make sure that our full-time registered drivers get first priority over the rest of the community. But like today, for example, we had 4 or 5 full-time drivers unable to make it. We're still sitting on a very full lobby here. So open to all. The GT3 Championship, which we'll see next weekend again here for round 2, is a registered-only series. So if you do want to get involved with the GR3 series, you do need to take the registration process and go through all the appropriate resources there. The Redbull Junior series, you do need to be in a Discord and make the admin staff aware that you're here on behalf of the Redbull Junior series, so we can give you the proper permissions into the proper channels so you can see what's going on, and essentially then you can use the registration systems there as well. So the Redbull Junior series is more of a community-based championship. It's essentially trying to be fine-tuned for all and try to make it as even for all to compete as we can, and you'll see that here come race 2 actually, and we'll talk about that championship ballast edition more. But right now it's qualifying, and this is the first of the hot laps here. So we're just on board with Tron Kobe here right now, and this man's been on a tear lately here in the sim racing communities. Pro-Am lobbies, a destroyer this guy has been. So it's going to be interesting to see how he stacks up against a lot of the pro drivers here that are in the Red Bull Junior series this championship. There's no specific pro or Pro-Am class here. This is just an open division race. Whoever wants to come in and just race and have some fun and test their mettle against the other drivers basically is how this is going to shake down. As we come through the final corner here, we're going to start seeing the times coming from the drivers, and we should see about 57s to 55s here depending on the driver, and it's going to be Tron there. Harris is going to take pole position away there. Super is going to take that away. Doug's going to take it away, and behind Super we got Ten Tenths here coming in. He's going to take second place as he comes across the line. So we got Type R next coming around the final corner here. Let's see what Type R has as he comes across the start-finish line here, and it is the damn cat, TDC Gaming, in behind there. He's going to stay in 6th. TDC Gaming is going to jump up ahead into 5th place, at least 10 tenths JSEC coming around here. 8th out in qualifying here, and as he comes around the track, we'll see what he has for his first recorded time, and then we'll move to the next driver, so on and so forth, all the way up until we get through the first field. It's going to be 6th place there for 10 tenths JSEC. We got bar 27 here, and it looks like Subi Mark actually out in front of bar 27 there, so that means bar is probably not going to have an ideal lap time here, as Mark was out in behind, coming out of pits and now out in front. Mistake, something happened, who knows. So we'll stay with Mark here, and then Bar will probably drop to, I would assume, the back of the field here for his second qualifying lap, but he still has one more crack at it here. So let's see what Mark has here. Nice wide exit out of the corner. Really got to utilize all that corner to really maximize it here. I know this track very well. We'll talk about it more when we get down to it. And we have Piggums here now as well. So Mark did not have a very good lap there either, apparently. Bar is going to just come across here right now, and I'm assuming we're going to see him drop to the back there as well. No, he stays in 9th place. Piggums is going to jump up into 3rd position there, and it's just Mike 1972, our last driver to come through here on his first lap. And Mike always likes to come out a little bit later in qualifying. He likes to leave, well, like we see in this case here, you know, a good quarter track of distance between him and the field, and I think that's a pretty smart play by Mike here. I really appreciate his qualifying strategy myself personally, because it's much of what I like to do. You just got wide open racetrack, you got clean air, and you really shouldn't have a chance of catching up to anybody, even if they have a situation to spin. and it should just be able to allow you to focus on your couple of laps to try and maximize your time around the racetrack. So we're going to sit on board with Mike here, even though most of the field is halfway around their second qualifying lap here right now. We have not seen that first recorded time here from Mike 1972. So we're going to sit on board there with Mike for a moment and check it out. We got Chad coming in with that thumbs up as well. Much love. Appreciate you, my guy. Hope you're doing fantastic. And a little bit of a lag spike coming around the final corner there. Hopefully that doesn't affect anything. And Mike's it's going to be good enough for 6th place there. So you can see all our racers here. Doug did not improve. We have Ten Tenths in 2nd position there. We've got Piggums. He is on his final flyer here. We got Bar 27 up in front there as well. So we got a small amount of lag here in the lobby today, which could potentially be a little troublesome for our drivers, but again, this is nothing out of the ordinary, unfortunately, here on the platform. Internet connections, the servers, racers from all around the world, you factor all 3 of those things in together and we get a little bit of net coding. It's just a part of multiplayer virtual gaming. And it's something that we just learned to get used to and accustomed to. It doesn't make it any easier, and it doesn't, the drivers might not necessarily enjoy it. We got Mark coming in with a 3rd place there, so it was an improvement on his first time. Bar moves up into 5th. Piggums moves up into 2nd position. Supra is done. Cat is done. Let's sit back with Mike here, as he's still on his final flying lap here. I believe there's a couple other drivers still out there on that final lap as well. Nope, it is just Mike now, so all 11 of our other drivers have completed their qualifying runs. And we'll just sit on board with Mike here as he finishes up his final run, his final lap. So this is going to set the grid for race number 1. Race number 1 will be a 30-minute race. It is a mandatory pit stop here for our racers, and it is going to be the racing medium tires here required. As you can see, that is what is on the cars in qualifying, which means that is the fastest tire available to our racers here today. We got Sarah coming in with the thumbs up on the stream as well. Welcome in, Sarah. I hope you're doing fantastic too. It has been a little while. I hope we're all good. I know I've been a little scarce. It's my own fault, but at the same time, the notification system on Facebook does not work very well, so we're trying something new. We've learned something new from some of the other creators on Facebook, and so that's why I've tagged that followers in the chat. So I apologize for the unexpected pings, but again, just trying to get my notification system to work. We're gonna make a good push here for the next little while on GT45 Gaming. Like I said, lots of exciting things happening. One of those exciting things is the dual championships we got here at Gran Turismo Racing Community. We got a lot more great stuff coming though here in the very near future, so we'll save that for another day. But again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely appreciate seeing some of the OGs coming back, and I know that it's mainly because A, we don't stream as much as we used to anymore, and B, the notification system doesn't work very good on the platform. So, gotta work around it. Gotta work around it. All right, so we are just awaiting official race start at this point. That is our qualifying order. So it's going to be Doug Burrow on pole. It's going to be Piggums in 2nd place, Ten Tenths in 3rd. We got Subi Mark in 4th, Bar 27 in 5th. We got Supra in 6th position. We got TDC Gaming in 7th. We've got Mike in 8th. We've got Hair Racer in 9th. We've got JSet in 10th position. We got Trone Kobe in 11th. And we got Type R rounding out the field in 12th place. 6 rows, 2 deep. False starts, standing starts, which means drivers do need to wait for that green flag to drop. If they try to go early, they will be immediately penalized at the start-finish line, and will serve that penalty right there and then, which could also bundle up the pack and cause a little bit of complications, so the drivers really need to try and get that timing just right. So race control's just checking in with our field there, and these Redbull Junior cars, they don't look like they're much. These cars are right dead in between a Group 3 and a Group 4 class racing car as far as pace and speed goes. As you can see, they are very aerodynamically fitted so that these little lightweight, low horsepower cars can move around these racetracks that quick, and that makes these cars very unpredictable at times. They are mid-rear engine cars, which means the engine is just behind the drivers in these cars. Center balance weight, and we're about to get ready to go racing. So under braking and into cornering, especially with the new physics update here at Gran Turismo 7, it proves to be very, very dicey controlling these cars. So it's going to be very interesting. Kick them tires, light them fires. We're going to race a chat, and we're going to do it very fast with these Redbull Juniors here. So we know Nations Cup's running right now. They got the Red Bull 2019 cars out on track. What a doozy that was. I missed the end of it, so don't tell me who won, because I'm going to go back and re-watch it. So we're going to pay a little homage here today at the GTRC with the Juniors, the little brothers of the big boys there at Lago Maggiore. So race number 1, 30 minutes, mandatory pit here, and we are racing. Doug holds the lead, Pigham's in second, we got Ten Tenths in third, we got Mark in fourth, we got Super in fifth, Bar is attacking there and gets around. Mike moves up to the sixth, Mike in seventh, we got Hair Razor in eighth, we got Tron in ninth, we got Jay in 10th, we got Type R in 11th, and we got TDC moving a little bit slowly here in 12th position. No damage on any of these cars, clean start, let's go racing. All right, so here we go, and this is a tricky part of the racetrack here in these cars, especially on these cold racing tires, is coming up into the S's here and then leading down into the Big Bank corner. I can't remember what our official name of that corner is at the moment, but everybody knows that it's Big Banky or Big Bank corner here as far as the sim racing community is concerned. So until I jog my memory of our corner names that we've come up with, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But right now it is Doug Burrow leading the charge, and it is Pigham's chasing here. So Bar 27 very quickly trying to charge up the field here. He started in 7th position. He's moved very quickly up into a couple of other positions here, and a big bold move there on the outside. But you got Mike 1972 coming through right there on the outside, 3 wide pass right there in the Big Bank corner. And boy, oh boy, let's go take another look at that. But I don't want to quite miss the action here yet, as well, it's action. So let's go check that out here as we're coming down the straight here. It is Bar 27 and I believe TDC there, or not TDC, 29. I'm not sure which driver that is. One of the rad drivers anyways. Ten Tenths, I believe that was. And just a great pass right there on the outside from Mike 1972 as Bar was trying to pass Ten Tenths on the outside. So, ooh, and a lot of contact right there, or just missed contact right there on the outside curbing the wall. So dirty air is going to factor in. Now these cars rely on that air pushing down on these cars to keep them stuck to the ground at these speeds in order to keep them moving in a straight line. So what happens when these cars are wobbling back and forth in and out of the corners and in behind each other is you get a little bit of break in that push, and that brake will create the front end of these cars to lift, and that breaks that aerodynamic suction that keeps these cars down to the track, keeps them turning so quickly, and just keeps their rubber basically with grip on the asphalt. When you break that push down on the aerodynamic package of these cars, that's when these cars get really interesting. And you can see we're going to see cases of this here in this race for sure, but you'll see the drivers push wide in the corners. You'll see the drivers have to check up, maybe a little slide out of the drivers in behind, because the car is not reacting quite as expected as if you had nobody in front. And we got this 3-car train here right now, and you can see them all kind of bobbling back and forth, and what they're doing is they're looking for just a little bit of clean racing air to get that front end push. So good battle here right now in the mid pack between Hair Razor Mike and Bar here, and let's see how this all shakes down. Oh, it's going to be 3 wide here. Bar's going to make an ambitious move there. He's just going to stick his nose in there, though. He's going to kind of decide to back out there. And I don't know if that was strategy there or if he realized that, oh, wait, I'm coming in a little hot, and just checked up there. But no position changes there. But that was a very dicey moment right there. And it is still battle on. Is now JSET is challenging Bar 27 here for 6th place overall. And he's going to get the job done. No, it's still side-by-side action. And Tron Kobe, they're in 8th place trying to take advantage here. I told you we're going to see great racing at Maggiore here today. And we are definitely seeing some great racing at Maggiore here today. And JSET loses the position to Bar 27. Bar 27 gets 6th place back from JSET, but JSET tucks right back in behind Bar 27. It is game on here. And Tron Kobe just sitting there in 8th place, just watching it all go down, waiting for his opportunity to jump into attack mode. So this is a great fight here right now so far early on. And most of the field here is still fairly close together as well. So it is Doug Barrow here. Pardon me. In the race lead, and he still has Pigham's basically glued to his rear bumper here right now. That's pretty same old usual suspects up front here in the GTRC. We have Supra there in 3rd place currently, with Hair Razor in behind him in 4th position, and Mike 1972 there in 5th place, and a wide exit there from Supra. That could potentially cost Supra a little bit of time as far as track infraction goes, but the stewards say nope, that was okay. We got bar 27 here in 6th place, and it's Tron Kobe now trying to attack. So Tron Kobe's gotten around J-Set here, moved up into 7th place. Bar goes really wide there. That's going to give him some dirty tires on the back end of that racing car. It's going to compromise his traction out on the exit, and Tron Kobe is going to get it done here, but Bar is going to respond back, coming in through the S's, and a great response there by bar 27. And bar 27 is definitely battling hard here in this early part of this race, still holding on to 6th place, but now it is attack on here from Ten Tenths J-Set on Tron Kobe. And boy, these guys are just sending it right now. This is a great battle here in the mid-pack, and this is intense racing here right now. Tron Kobe's going to take a look on bar 27 here as we head into the big bank corner. You can just see in that mirror there, Bar's just hanging on tough on the outside, but he can't get the job done, and he's going to lose out there to bar 27. J-Set there now tucks in side by side between J and bar 27 here as we're still on board with Tron Kobe, and you can see the backpack is starting to tighten back up here, and things are getting very racy. And mid-pack is always very racy here in all these league races of GTRC, and you'll see that in pretty much any league, because that is where usually the tightest grouping of pace is. It always seems to be right in the middle part of every division. We got some great racing happening here right now from Tron Kobe and the pack in behind chasing, so he has moved his way up into 6th place. Good battling right there by those drivers. It is Doug Burrow though still leading the charge here, and he's got about half a second over Piggums right now, and we're not used to, I mean, we're very used to seeing this these two chasing each other. They're very familiar with each other, and it is really any one of these two drivers' game at this point to win or lose. But we do have this second pack here with Supra holding that final podium position currently as it stands on the racetrack here in race number 1, and he has teammates Hairraiser and Mike right in behind. So I guess the bigger question is here, are they going to play nice? Are they going to start the old bump drafting choo-choo train here and try to reel in Piggums and Doug up in front? Or are they going to battle it out for position here? And I tell you what, Hairraiser made a great move right there on Supra, but Supra gets a great exit there, and he's going to respond back with the over-under here, and it's side-by-side as we head into the S's here, and that's just going to slow these guys down a little bit here, as you can see Mike 1972 there has to check up as well because the teammates are side-by-side there, and that cost him just a little bit of momentum. But with these two still squabbling over 4th and 3rd place here right now, Mike 1972 will get the run and just get right back on the train here. So again, a little bit of team driving perhaps, or a little bit of fun hard battling, and we're not sure what we're seeing here yet, but some great action here between the Team Rad drivers right now. And Super looking up the inside into the big bank corner, and ooh, I thought there might have been a little touch there, but I think that was just lag we saw there, and Supra actually gets a little bit too much of that inside curb there, a little bit of reaction to what was going on the racetrack there. Mike 1972 finds his way around on the outside on the exit there. So again, these three drivers just continue to switch these positions around here right now in the middle part of this racetrack, but that's allowing Tron to close in fairly quickly here. 3.1 seconds is that gap, and coming down, so good for Tron to continue seeing these guys battle up ahead right now. We got J-Set now in 7th place ahead of the rest of the pack of bar 27, Type R, TDC Gaming. Where is Ten Tenths here? Ten Tenths is right there in 11th place, and potentially already made their pit stop, and Mark here as well, potentially much of the same thing here. So some early strategies coming from a couple of our drivers here potentially, as well as it appears on the racetrack. Now, I did say that there is a mandatory pit here in race number 1, so all 12 drivers are going to have to make that pit stop. Now, whether or not they choose to take tires or fuel, I think it's determined on the condition of their car when they get into pit lane, to be honest. So but we will get those verified for round number 2 for sure. But right now it's about 0.6 of a second, 3/4 of a second between Piggums and Doug Burrow in 1st and 2nd place, and this healthy battle here for 3rd place between the Team Rad drivers, Hairraiser, Mike, and Supra. And not too much has changed there, so let's keep taking a peek here. See what we see. It is Tron here. Tron's in the 6th position. He's got J-Set closing in behind here in 7th place. So J-Set slowly but surely starting to kind of close back in on Tron, and that has opened a gap up on that pack chasing it behind, which is now essentially led by bar 27 here in 8th place, and it is still Type R and TDC Gaming chasing here in 9th and 10th place and behind them here as well. And we got a nice little battle going right there, so let's jump up to that battle here as Type R is going to take a look up the inside of Bar, and Bar's going to get the over-under in response here, and it's side-by-side action again as we head into the second set of S's here. And we got a nice side-by-side battle up in in front there, I believe, too, as well, between Jay and Trone. So we got some things happening here in this mid-pack. Bar is going to hold the charge here from Type R for the time being and maintain 8th place. And we did miss that final tally of the battle there, but we also had Jay and Trone side by side there as that was going on in front as well. It looks like Trone defended that position for the time being. We got Mike and Super now in pit lane. They are making that pit stop here for themselves as well. And we are about 20 minutes remaining in this 30-minute race. So that tells me that fuel may not quite go the whole distance. I think depending on how these drivers are driving these cars. It'd be interesting to see here how this all shapes out. So Mike comes back out in 8th position. Ten Tenths coming around here and Subi Mark. So these two pit quite a bit earlier. Let's see how that relates in time when Supra comes out here in comparison. And it looks like it's about 10 seconds. So interesting strategies here coming from all the racers right now. But only time's going to tell who has what it takes to take race number 1 today. Alright, so we are moving, we're grooving, we're just doing a quick little check on all the streams. It seems like everything is working pretty good here. We love that. Alright, back to the action. Jay has made his way around Trone Kobe here, so I'm not sure what happened there, but there's about a second gap there, so maybe a little mistake made by Trone, maybe a penalty. Entirely possible. That is just after the penalty serving zone there, so maybe a little bit of time lost there from Trone just via penalty. We did miss what happened there. We got Bar 27 sitting in 6th. We got TDC in 7th place, and he is under attack here by Type R. And Type R got a good run there through that the first part of the S's here, but it looks like TDC had just enough momentum there to keep the line just in front of Type R charge there, and Type R is looking very racy here today as well. We love to see that. And we're going to see a pit being made here from TDC Gaming as well. So let's go watch that actually. Let's go sit on board with TDC here as he comes into pit lane. Oh, and a half-second track limit penalty. Just to add a little bit of insult to injury there for the poor guy as he comes into pit lane there. But I guess it could be worse. It could be a 3-second for doing the pit lane infraction. And he's not going to take fuel here. So he figures he's got enough to get to the end. So he does just take a set of tires there, it looks like. Alright, so it's Doug and Piggums here. Right now they've got about 7 seconds over third place driver Hairraiser, who has broken away from his teammates because they decided to pit in behind there. So that leaves J-Set now currently up into 4th place, owing a pit stop. Patron Kobe right there and behind in 5th, also owing a pit stop. That also leaves Bar 27 in 6th place, with Type R owing pit stops, and the rest of the field having already made their stops here in behind. With of course, TDC Gaming just coming out of pit lane there. He's got to sort that penalty this lap too. Thankfully, it's just an out lap, so all things considered, not too shabby. That's the best time to have the penalty, when you're just trying to warm those tires up anyways. And then you can get back to your race pace and hopefully get locked back in. But here we go, battle for the race lead here as Piggums tries to get a job done on Doug here. And as we're coming around, it says Piggums has position here on Doug, and he is it is side by side here. It is so close between these two racers here right now as we continue to go around the final S's in the final corner here. And these two have been side by side, deadlocked here for the last 5 corners. Absolutely huge respect shown by the two racers here. Zero contact's been made as they navigated that whole final sector, and Doug Bros is going to just hold on to the race lead as they come around there. So that was a great battle there. Great attempt from Piggums to try and get the job done, but a great defense there by Doug Bro, and for the time being holds the position down from Ten Tenths. Piggums side by side for the last 5 corners here. Absolutely great racing from these two, and that's why these guys are the pros, man. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Huge respect given. Very, very aware of where each other's cars were on the racetrack. Good, hard, fair racing by these two. A little mistake made there by Doug. Going to give a run to Piggums. Are we going to see a response here? Are we going to see an attempted pass from Piggums here? Or is he just going to sit in behind? And he had to check himself up just a little bit there, so he did not want to bump into the back end of Doug there. Again, these aerodynamic packages in these cars are very sensitive. You do not want to damage any part of that body of these cars, because it will most certainly affect the way that the car handles around the racetrack from there on in. So better to be safe than sorry. And I mean, right there back on the rear bumper again of Doug Burrows, so no harm, no foul there. Just had to do a little bit of work to get back to where he was, and no contact made, which means no damage to the race car, which means both these two live to fight another day here yet. And side by side again, here we go, coming into the big bank corner. This corner, you can definitely get it done on the outside here. And, ooh, just about some contact there. A little bit of reaction there between the two drivers. And again, a little bit of lag in the lobby. So they could be potentially contact between the two drivers on their point of views. And then we are seeing a little bit of reaction, like there might be very mild contact there. And again, that's just good hard racing between these two. So let's get back to the field here real quick. Let's go see what's happening. Oh, we got Jay getting it wrong coming out of the big bank corner. He's going to lose the position to Tron Colby there. And bar 27 up to speed, also coming in hot here. So Type R in behind with Mike 1972 in 8th. We got Supra in 9th. We got TDC Gaming in 10th place. We got Ten Tenths here in 11th. And we got Mark in 12th position. Right now, this is a great battle for the race lead. We don't want to miss too much of this ongoing battle. And, oh, did he draw Piggums into potentially grabbing a 3-second penalty there? Oh, that was very close. Very close, very close. It would look like there might have been a little neck coating involved there. It looked like we saw Piggums go across that pit entry line there, but I guess we'll wait and see. But Tron Colby opts to stay out a little longer. Piggums actually jumps Doug in pit lane, so that tells me that Doug must have taken a little bit of fuel, and Piggums took less or none. And it is game on here, so Doug Burrow is losing the position there to Piggums. So when Tron does pit, these guys will most likely take that position away. But bar 27 here is now hot on their heels in 4th place. But again, he has yet to make that mandatory stop himself. Type R here in 5th place, much of the same position, has yet to make that stop. And the rest of the drivers have now made that mandatory pit stop. So this TDC here is J-Set. We got Ten Tenths in pit lane right now. And just maybe struggling a little bit here in the early goings of this race. Maybe we missed something. That's entirely possible. We missed lots of things on the racetrack because it is hard to keep up with everything going on all the time. Alright, so let's get on with this here, this ongoing battle between the eventual race leaders here again once Tron Colby decides to pit. Now, with that being said, there's no window when these drivers have to pit. They can literally decide to pit on before the final lap and just do a one and out. So I mean, we could potentially maybe be seeing that from Tron Colby. The problem is with that, you're not giving yourself any wiggle room to make up any potential time lost from a bad pit stop. So it's a risk versus reward strategy, and right now it's only a 5-second gap to Doug and Piggums. It's more risk than it is reward, I think. But I'm not the driver. I'm just a commentator in the booth. What do I know? These guys practice, they train hard for these races, they have their strategies in their mind, they who knows what's coming, who knows what's coming. Alright, so Doug has made his way around Piggums, gets the position back on Piggums here, and this is a very feisty battle here between these two, and the feisty battle here between these two in this race is all fine and dandy, but then that's going to add some weight to these racers' cars, and that is going to change things significantly. So at the end of this race, the top 5 drivers are going to be adding a certain amount of weight to their racing cars, and we're calling that added championship ballast. And what's going to happen is when they start race number 2, they're going to have all that extra weight on their cars, and that is most certainly going to affect their pace and their turning, their braking, and a lot of different things throughout that 20-minute sprint race. So they're going to be coming in with a points advantage, but coming in with a weight disadvantage against the rest of the field, and that essentially is designed to balance out the racing field for our more casual racers. I want to try and see what it's like to come in on a more competitive level in an organized manner and just see how it feels. So it's our way to, or the GTRC's way to try and balance out the field, try and get a much tighter grouping in the point standings. Now, with that being said, our top tier drivers are our top tier drivers for a reason. They do quite a well job at persevering through even championship ballast over past seasons that we've seen this setup here through the GTRC. This is a tried and true setup here. These guys have ran this setup through various championship seasons over the last 3.5-4 years now, so it really just needs to be fine-tuned due to the new game settings and the new physics and everything that's changing. I'm sure there can be a little bit of tweaking involved here, but It's a great setup, it's a great system, and it provides really great championships at the end of the season. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out for this season as well. But it definitely involves a lot of strategy, and that can come into play in the strategy of some of the drivers when it comes to where they are on track and how they're pushing for the next position coming into race number 2. If you're really pushing hard for 5th place, you know, it might be a bit of a stretch. It might be good just to settle in, let them take the extra weight, and get that points gain off in race number 2. But there's a lot of different things that I'm sure are going through these drivers' minds, the crew, the chief engineers. I'm sure there's a lot of communication and chatter going on. And again, we don't see these cars race too often, so it's nice to see them out on track here this season. And there's a bit of a learning curve that's going to go with these cars, especially with the new physics. So there we go. Tron Kobe made a pit stop. He comes out. Looks like he comes out in about the mid-pack, about 6th place there, and potentially gaining a little bit of time there on TDC Gaming and Jay said, who he was very closely battling with there in that first early part of the race. So Tron Kobe doing a pretty good job here, sitting right in the middle of the pack right now. But it is Piggums now in the race lead here with Doug Burrow, and these two, there's no love lost between these two here. Piggums is essentially a last season's champion. Doug Burrow has been trying to chase that 5th championship here in the GTRC for about 3 or 4 championships over the last year and a half here now, and he just keeps getting spoiled by one of the other competitors here. So he is definitely back on the hunt for a 5th championship here this season as well. And the competitive field of drivers these 2 championship seasons here in both our championship series, the Group 3 and the Redbull Juniors here this season. So again, you know, like we said at the beginning of the broadcast, it really is anybody's race to win each and every racing week, especially with the championship ballast edition that we have here. We got Barr up at the 3rd place, still owes a pit stop, however. Got Hair Razor here in 4th position. We got Type R in 5th. He also is going to owe a pit stop here sometime in the next 8.5 minutes. The rest of the drivers have done so. So with that being said, there's potential a couple spots there to gain for some of these chasing drivers yet, depending on where in behind those 2 drivers they are. For time-wise, we've seen it's about a 30-second pit stop here, start to finish, if you're not taking fuel from the racers. So that's a pretty significant time difference, and really essentially typically factors into racing strategy, but we'll have to see how it all plays out. We've seen early pits, we've seen middle of the race pits, and we're definitely going to see some late race pits here, so it's going to be interesting to see which of the strategies works out better for the racers here. And speaking of, we got Bar 27 coming into pit lane here right now. Jay said here in 8th place, close right up on the back of TDC Gaming here as we come in through the final corner. He's going to get a good charge there, really using all that exit there just to make sure that he doesn't lose any of that momentum. And are we going to see the move coming into turn 1? We are. He's going to pull out, take that inside position, try to get that. It's going to put him on the outside though coming into turns 2. And it is a tough hold right there. You can see he's just going to settle back in behind TDC there, and just didn't have the momentum on the outside there to make that stick. So he's going to settle back into position and re-engage when he feels the moment is there. So coming around the corner there, he gets a great run there. He was going to take a look at getting up the inside, but a little wiggle on the exit there as he got under the loud pedal just a little too quickly. And again, just finds himself tucked right underneath that wing of TDC Gaming there, and under braking, he's just going to catch that track edge there, but he does a great job at managing the car there. That's a dangerous situation that typically throws these cars quite sideways quite quickly. And it's a great battle here for 5th place between the 2 drivers here right now, so we're just going to sit with this here for another moment or 2. We're trying to keep our eye on the track radar here. We definitely got that 1st and 2nd place battle still very active and underway here as well, and we'll get back to that in just a moment's time as we've got Jay and TDC Gaming here now coming into the bank bag corner. Jay's going to get the position heading into the corner. Are we going to see the response from TDC Gaming through and out of the corner exit here? A little wiggle coming from Jay there as he comes out, and TDC Gaming gets a good clean exit. It's race on. 0.6 of a second separating the 2 racers here right now. Back up front, this battle for the race lead here. It is Piggums and Doug, but the fastest driver on the racetrack right now is 11th or 12th place driver Subi Mark, so he has put in a 55.946 for fast lap here. But right now, the race lead between Doug Burrow and Piggums here. Doug takes it up the inside into turn 1. He's going to take that race lead back over from Piggums here, and we're seeing a very continuing trend here between these 2 right now. They're just passing each other and using slipstream and in under braking, and then they just switch that position and they continue on charging down the racetrack, and it's been working out pretty good for them. We got TDC Gaming now making a pit stop here. got to take that splash of fuel that we were concerned about when we seen him take those tires. That is going to take him out of the race here for race number 1, unfortunately. Having to make that extra pit stop, so that's good for the racers, again, chasing in behind. So it is Hair Razor here in 3rd place. He's got 9 seconds to the pack up front. We got Trone Colby in 4th. He's got 9 seconds to Hair Razor. Bar 27 there in 5th. 7 seconds to Trone, so some pretty big spacing there. And then it starts to tighten up a little bit. We got Jay here in 6th place with Bar up into 5th. Mike 1972 there in 7th, Type R in 8th. And Jay must have made a mistake here because he is got a pack on top of him here. We got Supra here in 9th, we got TDC in 10th, we've got Subi in 11th position, and we got Ten Tenths in 12th place here. So here we go again. Pigham's into the big bank corner trying to get the job done there. Ooh, there might have been a small amount of contact there potentially between Doug and Pigham's there. Doug reacted, moved down the racetrack very quickly there to make sure that Pigham's had enough room to get back on without incident, and he did. And he may have even left it on the throttle a little bit there just to give Pigham's a position back there temporarily as well. I'm not sure, but Pigham's unfortunately is going to get a penalty there as they were side by side in through the sector, the S's after that, and that's going to definitely take him off the back end of Doug here. So Pigham's is really going to have to get real nice and tight to Doug, or even potentially maybe in front of before the penalty serving zone here to try not to lose the slipstream to the race leader here. And there it is. Doug had a little moment right there. Look, he had to gather that car up on the inside wall there, and that's exactly what Pigham's was looking for there from Doug, as that gave him an easy pass around. He didn't have to battle for it there, and now he can try to salvage this half-second track limit penalty the best he can. Unfortunately for Pigham's, that penalty is in a full-speed zone coming right out of into a full-speed zone, so it really kills your momentum, and that is going to give Doug a solid second out of that half second. So Pigham's really working hard right now to try and open that gap up as quickly as he can, because he knows that Doug is probably going to get first place back here once he serves his penalty. So it is the charges on here, but Doug has done a great job of closing the gap back up heading in through the S's, and once we get out of these S's is where we're going to see that penalty serving zone just on the other side of the hill here on the exit of the S's heading into the big bank corner. You can see that the warning coming up right there on his hood. HUD system, HUD system, pardon me, and that's going to absolutely just allow Doug to drive away there, because Pigham's going to lose quite a bit of mile per hour compared to Doug. He's at 130 right now, and Doug's at 145, so yeah, about a 20 mile per hour difference, but that distance that Pigham's had on Doug ahead of Doug serving that penalty just allowed him to stay right there in the slipstream. So battle on, and like I said, Pigham's everything worked out in Pigham's favor right there, just how that transition happened in that lap for him not to ultimately lose the slipstream there, and that's really important. So Trone Colby here in 4th place. The gap growing there from Trone to Hair Razor, but Bar catching up to Trone slowly here. So we're seeing gaps kind of slowly open and close here. We got Mike 1972 here now up into 6th place. We got Type R here in 7th. We got Supra at 8th. We got Jay now in 9th position. So falling backwards in the field here a little bit near the end of this race is Jay Set. We got TDC there in 10th. We got Subi Mark in 11th. And we got Ten Tenths here in 12th position. And some racers just not having a great start to their season here. But this is only 1 or 2 races here today, so the next one I think is going to be even spicier, because it is a sprint race full send setup, and there's not going to be any pit stops here from these drivers. There's not going to be anything real crazy here, but send it. So the challenge is going to be for our top 5 with the championship weight ballast added into their cars. Obviously our 5th place driver will have significantly less weight than the 1st place driver, but that should balance out the field a little bit here as well. Going to be interesting. Bar 27 is closing very quickly on Trone Colby there, and with that being said, so is Mike 1972 on Bar. The time gap isn't changing between those two, which means Mike is closing in on Trone as well, and he's got Type R right there with him. Supra and Jay Set in 8th and 9th place, and we're going to start seeing some late race battles potentially here, so oh boy. All right, let's get to it. Side by side for the race lead, Ten Tenths Pigham's, Team Rad's Doug Burrow, and Doug's going to get the job done in the bag corner. Pigham's is going to take the outside line there, and that's ideally going to set him up for the inside there, but he wasn't able to quite get car position there up in beside Doug Burrow, and Ooh, I don't know. There might be some potential extra movement there. We'll have to wait and see what race control says about that, but it is game on there. And a little bit of contact there between the two drivers as well, with Doug and Piggums in that battle. So they will get another time around here, but a little bit of a gap now opened up after that exchange between the two drivers here. And it'll be a final lap dash here. Oh, it's not going to be a final lap dash here as Piggums is not going to have the fuel. Alright, so Hair Racer is going to grab second place there. Piggums is just taking that splash, and he could potentially lose his position here to Tron Kobe as well. And oh boy, that was not ideal. And nope, he will keep third place there as time has ran out. So Tron will take checkered flag here in fourth place. Bar 27 closed in about 3 seconds there to take fifth place. We got Mike 1972 holding off the charge from Type R here. He is going to take sixth place here. Type R is going to take seventh position. Supra is going to take eighth. Jay is going to take ninth. TDC Gaming is going to come around here in 10th position. That's going to leave Ten Tenths here in 11th, and Soupy Mark rounding out the field here in 12th position. But Ten Tenths comes in with the fastest lap there, that second last lap around, and Mark is out of fuel, so stricken driver on the racetrack there, but he is far enough up the racetrack. Maybe he's not far enough up the racetrack here, but it shouldn't affect what's happening here. There's enough gap between what's going on here now with Piggums having to make that late race pit stop there for fuel, ultimately ending the charge there for first place. But boy, Doug gets it wrong coming into the Big Bang corner, and fortunate there for Doug that Piggums was still not right there in tow, because that would have been an easy position there for Piggums and potentially a pretty easy hold as well heading into the final sector. But this is racing, and racing happens, and miscalculation on fuel there for Piggums means he's going to just barely hang on to the podium here today in race number 1. And it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers handle that championship edition weight into race number 2. So it is Doug Burrow. He's coming around here. Final corner for Doug Burrow in race number 1. And it's going to be a round one victory here for Doug Burrow. It's going to be Hair Racer coming in here in second place as well in race 1, round 1. And it is going to be Piggums to round out the podium here in race 1, round number 1 at Lago Maggiore GP. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is not it, and that is not all. We'll stay tuned for more. All right, so it's a big old victory right there for Team Rad Doug Burrow. All right, so we need to go do a couple of screenshots here. Fastest lap does officially go to Ten Tenths Fish 27 with a 155.334. So good job by him to slot in the fastest lap around the racetrack. We are going to grab that replay. And we're going to allow now race control to, of course, communicate, ballast, do the tech inspections and all that thing in behind the scenes. So we are going to have a slight little break here in between. So I do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the way it goes sometimes. And welcome in. We're just going to go do a little bit of catch up here in the chats. And there's not a whole lot going on here today. It's very quiet today. Very, very quiet today. Five minutes is what we're hearing from race control. All right, so we're just doing a little stream metric check while we've got a moment as well. So now what's happening is race control is in behind the scenes. They're communicating with our top 5 drivers, getting them to add the appropriate amount of weight, of course, to their cars. They'll verify that, and we'll line the grid up for race number 2. We're just bringing up our YouTube dashboard. Just to do a couple of quick changes to hopefully send out proper notifications. All right. All right, things are looking great. Hope everybody's having a fantastic weekend. I know this commentator is going to go see the local barber and get a good styling done. Come very highly recommended here, apparently. So we're going to go and get a fresh cut, enjoy life a little bit. All right, so we are just getting our drivers sorted. We'll see the grid get set up, and then we'll move you all back over to our big screen. So it's been an interesting race here so far. We saw a great racing action in the early part of this race, and then we kind of seen the pit strategies and just the small minor mistakes from all our racers kind of spread the field out a little bit by the end of that 30-minute race, and I'm not too surprised to see that happen. As the drivers get more familiar with the cars, that will most certainly change, and we'll start seeing these races become very, very close, I suspect. But the sprint race is going to be a different beast. Now, the 30-minute race is treated like an endurance style race because it does have a form of strategy involved where you need to make the pit stop. You need to decide if you're going to take a fresh set of tires. You decide if you're going to take a splash of fuel, which in the case of a couple of drivers in race number 1, a splash of fuel wouldn't have hurt them, ultimately costing them some extra position on the racetrack. This one, you don't have to worry about that. You just, when that green flag drops, you hit the loud pedal and it is go for 20 minutes nonstop. Don't look back and absolutely just try to pass everybody. So as the grid order starts to get set here, it's going to be interesting to see how the extra weight on our top 5 from last round is really going to work itself out. So as soon as I do that, we got drop frames, eh? Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to close that guy down. So we don't have the issue of drop frames. We don't want drop frames. We want good racing action without lag. No drop frames. Alright, so we've got race controls just one driver not checked in yet. We have one driver not quite checked in yet. Potentially still dealing with championship weight. All right. Just trying to get my earbuds more secured. I'm not sure if you actually picked that up on the mic or not. The mic has pretty good filters, but sometimes the mic acts up too. It's had a mind of its own lately. Let's put it that way. All right, so race control right now is just kind of in that tech inspection phase, or just double checking to verify that the proper amount of weight has been placed on the proper cars. And this is going to be a much different race that we're going to see here this time around. So it's going to be interesting to see. All right, let's have a little chat about our racetrack here for a minute. Wow, race control sorts the final details out here, and it's taking a little bit longer than expected. But hey, you know what? It's tough business here. All right, so this is a beautiful circuit stage near Lago Maggiore in northern Italy. It's surrounded by the European Alps, a technical course of approximately 5.8 kilometers in length with many unique corners combined with ascents and descents created by the hilly geography. The straight has elevation change of over 40 meters, and there is a 20-foot banked hairpin at the end of the hill, which we call Big Bank Corner as a community, but our actual research has named this corner Aurora. No, Mountain Basin. Pardon me, Mountain Basin. No, it's Aurora. I'm confused. It's Aurora. So Big Banky is known as Aurora. So I'm just kind of looking at our map here. I'm just trying to resituate what we got for track names here. There's 100 and some different layouts and variations of racetracks here in Gran Turismo 7, and it's very hard to remember all of the corner names in all of the tracks, whether they be real or fictional. The fictional ones I actually find is harder to remember over the real ones. Not sure why, just probably interpretation. But yeah, it's getting tricky as more and more tracks are being used throughout these championships, and more of our track maps are developed by Ten Tenths Mischievous and behind the scenes. So it gets very tricky to try and keep all of that ingrained in the memory. It's been a little over 20 years since we've been in high school, and I think we need to exercise the old brain muscle a little bit better, so our memory's just a little bit sharper, perhaps. But we're gonna blame old age. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, we should be underway here in just a moment's time. Looks like most of the crowd is settled in here and ready to watch this absolutely insane sprint race that we're about to see. This is going to be 12 cars, full sending for 20 minutes. They're not letting up. They don't need to worry about pitting. All they need to worry about is passing the next car in front or keeping the car behind. So I think that we're going to see a lot of hard side-by-side racing, and I think we're going to see a lot of elbows out racing here in this 20-minute sprint. So buckle up, chat. I mean, this thing is happening here real soon. Looks like the drivers are sorted. Looks like race control is happy. And it looks like all of our 12 Redbull Junior race cars are getting out on the racing surface here. So it is going to be a doozy. It is also going to be, I believe, reverse grid based off of last race's results, which will be verified shortly here. Correct. All right, let's go racing, chat. And we are green, and we are in race number 2, 20-minute sprint, no pit stop, no requirements, full send, let's go. All right, so all our top finishers are in the back, and the guys that finish in the back of race number 1 are up in the front. However, with that being said, the back 5 starting drivers have added weight to their cars here after race number 1, and that is most certainly going to affect how well they get around this racetrack here. It's going to change their turning, it's going to change their braking, it's going to change their acceleration, and their top end speed, and to what extent, for better or for worse, well, we're not sure yet, but we're definitely about to find out. So a good clean race start here by all the racers again here in race number 2, and we are game on at Maggiore, and it is Ten Tenths making the move up the inside here, heading into the Cappuccino S's by Ten Tenths. So Ten Tenths takes the race lead away from Subimark, and they continue up in through the Cappuccino S's, heading into Espresso. It is J-Set, and he has a whole pack on top of him right now. Supra up ahead in 3rd place. He's got Mike 1972, TDC Gaming, Type R, and Bar 27 absolutely all over him right now. And they are battling a little bit back there and behind him, so that is going to give him a little bit of breathing room. But look at that backpack here right now. We have about 6 cars all fighting for position here right now, starting with TDC Gaming all the way down to the back of the field. And TDC is going to take the high line out. We got Tro and Kobe looking up the inside, but there's that weight addition to Tro and Kobe right there. TDC just is able to get the power down quicker and get that car accelerating just a little bit better. So these drivers are going to have a very tough time here in race number 2. With that extra weight, Bar making a big mistake there, going off the racetrack and wide. That's going to cost him more time, and it is Subimark and Ten Tenths here side by side. Squeeze a little bit tight there was Ten Tenths, but holds his line, gets it through the grass, and stays out in front of Subimark. And it is hard racing up front here right now between Ten Tenths and Subimark. Super right there in the background, lurking in 3rd place, just a car length separating 3rd to 1st place here right now. And Mark's going to take a look up the inside into turn 1, and oh boy, it is great hard racing here right now for the race lead, and it is all or nothing here in this 20-minute sprint race. And Ten Tenths is still going to hold the position, but Mark's got the inside line coming into the next corner, and Ten Tenths holds the position, gives him the inside line coming in. What a battle this is for the race lead between Ten Tenths and Subimark, and Ten Tenths is going to beat out to Subimark for defending the race lead here. That was a beautiful battle between those two. Subimark just slots into 2nd place, but Supra takes a big move up the inside there, and I'm not sure if there was contact there. I don't think so. I think that was just a track edge under braking right there from Mark. And let's take one more quick look here as Supra takes a look up the inside. It's hard to say. There was either a snap right there or just a slight amount of net coating. I'm not sure, but interesting situation. Mark now down into 7th place, so Jay's now up into 3rd. We got Mike into 4th. We got TDC here in 5th place. We got Pigham's all the way up into 6th here currently now after that little mishap there from Mark. Mark is here in 7th position right now, and he is tucked right into the slipstream of Pigham's up in front here, and that is TDC Gaming just in front of them there as well. So look at this mid pack, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 drivers within a second apart from each other here right now. Oh boy, we got racing happening. This battle for the race lead is now on between Ten Tenths and Supra here. So Ten Tenths is battling for his life up here at the race lead right now. He had to fend off Mark. He's got Mark out of the way for the time being. Now he's got Supra here starting to breathe down his neck, and TTJ sets only 3.4 seconds in behind. So this is racing. We've seen this already. Anything can happen. Mistakes are very easily made here. These cars are very spicy, very unpredictable, and when you are absolutely on the edge of your seat in the race car with these cars, anything can happen very, very quickly. So it is TDC Gaming here starting to close in on Mike 1972, and I mean from 3rd to 12th place is insanely close, and a little bit of a mistake under braking there from TDC that allows Mark to get on the outside of Pigham's there, as Pigham's had to check up in behind TDC, and Mark's going to get the job done. Mark's going to move up into 6th place ahead of Pigham's there, and so is Doug Burrow. So 2 spots there Pigham's is going to lose, and as he comes under braking there, he's now under attack from Hair Razor in behind there in 9th place, but he does defend that position off from Hair Razor there. Tro and Kobe here in 10th position. We got Bar 27 here in 11th. We got Type R here in 12th place. So Ten Tenths in the race lead, and he's now opened up a healthy gap here, 1.5 seconds in these cars. That's pretty healthy. 2.9 seconds here currently from second to third place to Jay Set, but Jay is working hard at trying to close that gap down here. We got Mike 1972 2.8 seconds in behind Jay Set, and he has the pack on him. TDC Gaming and Soupy Mark very specifically right now all over him. TDC's taking a look on the outside there. He got a little bit of grass coming through there, but he manages to keep the car underneath of him, and that's going to allow Mark to try and get position. I think there was contact there between the two as TDC was looking to get an inside position on Mike 1972. Didn't realize Mark was there, but everything is all fine and dandy there, and Mark is going to move up ahead of TDC Gaming there, and he is all over the backside of Mike 1972 here. He's going to take it up the outside there, look for the inside line coming into the next set of corners, and it is going to be 2 positions in 4 corners there for Mark as he now moves up into 4th position and got to find himself now defending off here. But now we've got a battle happening here between Piggums and Dugborough in 7th and 8th place, and this is re-engaged from race number 1 here, and Hair Razor right there in behind Dugborough. So these are our top 3 drivers here. Piggums in 3rd, Doug in 1st, and Hair Razor in 2nd in race number 1, and all 3 very close together here again, battling it out right now in the mid-pack. And that just goes to show that championship weight and the difference it makes in these cars. So that's Tro and Kobe here now, chasing in 10th position with Bar 27 just in behind, the Type R just in behind him. That is our last driver, so I mean we still got 7 drivers from 6th through 12th here, very, very close in proximity, and those positions I suspect will probably change around a couple more times here yet. But it is Ten Tenths right now, and he is driving away. 2.2 seconds, continues to open the gap over Superboy in the 2nd position, and Jay Set there in 3rd place. Jay Set's managing to pay the gap between him and, and we got a driver in trouble. I don't know who that is. I believe that was TDC Gaming there. Oh, tough luck there. We hate to see that. Let's see what happened here. Oh, we got to go further back. All right, so he's just coming around. He's just coming around. Oh, and he just lost it. The car just spun on him, and the ping pong effect took over there, and stopping on a place where he's out of the way of the rest of the field, thankfully for the rest of the field. But unfortunately for TDC Gaming, he's going to collect himself back up. He's still got 12 minutes and 50 seconds here, though, so there's still a fair amount of race left here to make positions up. He's just got to get on it now. All right, so Super here in 2nd place with Jay closing in a little bit there in 3rd position. Subi Mark here in 4th place. He is starting to slowly track here. Mike 1972 starting to lose a little bit of grips with Subi Mark there. And this battle here in the mid-pack is on like Donkey Kong. It is Dugborough there. He did have the position up ahead of Piggums there, but Piggums has got that position back as we head in through the 2nd set of S's here. And Hair Razor took a little bit of a look there on Doug as well, but could not get the position. Are we going to go 3 wide coming into the corner there? Hair Razor just took a look there, just showed his nose, seeing if he was going to get a reaction there. Didn't get a reaction, settles back into position. But Tro and Kobe's now made this a 4-way battle for 6th place here between the drivers, and it is a Dugborough right now tucked in very tight in behind Piggums here. And this is a battle of the heavyweights in a sense right now. All these cars carrying championship ballast. Piggums, Doug, Hair Razor, and Tron all carrying extra weight here. Bar as well in behind it. Oh, and Tro and Kobe gets it wrong on the exit there, and oh boy, it is just going bad to worse for a couple of our drivers here. And oh, you hate to see it. He just went a little bit wide out into the marbles on the edge of the track there. Oh, and he got a little bit of air off that big sausage curb there, and just absolutely spun him around. He gets the rear end into the pit lane wall there, and oh boy, that was a tough hit there from Tro and Kobe. But he is back on track, and he has got that thing moving back in the right direction again. So round of applause there for the racer as everything seems to be okay, but tough moment there from Tro and Kobe. Super here in 2nd place, 3.5 seconds gap to Ten Tenths here. We got J-Set 3.4 seconds in behind the Supra, 7 seconds in behind the race leader. And Subi Mark is tracking very quickly here in behind J-Set, 1.7 seconds, and absolutely closing. Mike 1972 here in 5th position has Piggum starting to track in on him here, 3/4 of a second, so he's almost got that slipstream engaged here. Dugboro's about 3/4 of a second in behind Piggums, and much of the same here for Hair Razor to Dugborough right now. So close little battle there. We got Bar 27 and Type R here for 9th position, and Type R does have that inside track heading into the Big Bang Corner, or Aurora as we call it. And it is, again, very possible to hold that outside position around that corner. The high banking does allow you to maintain a pretty good amount of speed, and it's just managing that exit like we see Bar able to do there. Stays out of the dirt, but it is still a good battle here between Bar and Type R, and Bar is just going to hold Type R off here for the time being, And we got this healthy battle here now, so Piggins has actually moved ahead of Mike 1972 and got himself up into 5th place here. Mike 1972 now finds himself in front of Doug and Hair Razor, and as we head into the final corner here, we see one position swapped here for the time being, but Doug does appear to be applying some pressure here on Mike, and he is going to move up the inside here. So Doug Burrow now looking to try and get the job done on Mike 1972 here into turn number 1 and 2, and Mike 1972 just holds great momentum around the corner there. Lots of respect given for racing room there, and just holds the position outright on Doug. So that was a great maneuver under braking right there for Mike 1972. He does track quite a bit wide around the corner there. Hopefully track officials there didn't see that as advantage gain and give him a track limit penalty. He would see it by now, so it looks like they were okay with how wide he went there. All right, let's keep looking through the field here. Type R has made his way around bar 27 here, so Bar now finds himself in 10th position. We got TDC here in 11th, and we got Trone just coming out in behind here. And I believe those drivers had to go make a pit stop for damage. So that's unfortunate. Their already bad day has turned into a little bit of a worse day as far as time loss goes on the racetrack. But the important thing is they're out there and they're still going to get that very important seat time here. And round 2 is a whole new racing round. So it is 10-10 here, and looking real strong so far. They're controlling the pace of this 20-minute sprint with a 4.9 second gap over Superboy here in 2nd place. And he's got about 4.6 seconds over 10 Tenths Jason. Jason has his teammate Mark absolutely breathing down his neck. Jay goes a little bit wide right there, and Mark's going to get the job done. And that sure looked like Jay actually gave the position to Mark there. I think that was a team call between the two drivers there. Jay realized Mark has some pretty good pace, and he just got off the racing line to let Mark through clean, and Jay's just going to settle in behind there, so he's going to let Mark try to charge up the Superboy here for the last 8.5 minutes, and he's going to try and follow him through. Here's what it looks like, and I can safely say that's a pretty safe assumption here. We got Piggums in 5th position here, chasing with Mike 1972 still holding strong here in 6th place. He still has Doug and Hair Razor all over the back end of him here, and as we come through the final corner here, does anyone driver seem to gain an advantage over the other one? And unfortunately for Doug and Hair Razor, it's going to be hard for them to outpower Mike 1972 because he's not carrying any additional weight like Doug and Hair Razor are. So side-by-side battle here again, heading into turn 1 and 2 there, and Doug's going to get it done this time. They're very deep under the brakes there, and Hair Razor is going to try and take a look on Mike, but not able to get around there. He's just going to settle back in behind and try to wait for his moment, but Mike 1972 is no slouch. The man knows how to race, so expect a potential response there back on Doug as well. We got Type R in 9th, we got Bar 27 here in 10th position, we got TDC here in 11th, and we got Trone in 12th, and again, just unfortunate for those two racers. They were having good solid races. Are right in the middle part of the pack, battling hard, trying to get up the track, and just some mistakes made there. So 10-10 moving. Supra trying to move, trying to close in, but 10-10 is just on a whole different level here right now. Over the remainder of the field, he broke free. He's gotten into that clean air, and he just continues to open the gap up. That's what he needs to do. Super Mark is trying to track Super down. 3.3 seconds is the gap, and there's still 7 minutes remaining in the race, so we got about 3 or 4 laps left to go here yet. Jay is about 1.2 seconds in behind Mark, and teammate Piggums there is about 7.9 seconds in behind. And with all that extra championship weight, it might be very hard for Piggums to make that ground up at this point. So really his concern needs to be these guys chasing him behind. Doug, Mike, Hair Razor, and Mike now in a side-by-side battle here for 7th position, and Mike's going to hold the charge off from Hair Razor here for the time being, but boy, Hair Razor is absolutely just underneath that rear spoiler of Mike 1972 here right now, and we got some good hard racing happening here all over the racetrack in this second race. I knew we would probably see that kind of racing here. Sprint racing brings out a different attitude and vibe and strategy in a racer's mind, because you only know that you only have a short amount of time to do it. You need to do it as fast as possible, as cleanly and mistake-free as possible. And for some it works out good, for some not so much, but that's why we have multiple rounds of racing to determine our winners, not just one. So that's, you know, everybody has a fair chance, and a new round is a new round of racing. But it is 10-10 here, and I mean, just cruising. Super here as well, up into 3rd place. Super Mark making a mistake here somewhere along the way, maybe potentially. Jay now back up into 3rd place, has about 6 seconds over Mark. And as we say that, we got Mark. Mark is just going on a little adventure here right now at the end part of the race, and you know what? That's all it takes. Just one mistake. He's coming through the S's here. Everything's looking pretty good, and he comes around the corner, and he Oh, again, just the car just gets a little bit too much of a weight transfer there, and I think that weight transfer just got the rear end just a little over-rotated, and it just slipped away from him there. So pretty harmless looking exit, but if you break that down, that is a weight transfer issue there for sure. What we've noticed with the new update is you really need to preload your suspension into corners, meaning if your suspension is already leaning in one direction, you try to get that car to immediately roll over to the other side of your springs on your suspension without letting the car square itself off and kind of preload that suspension to that direction. You'll see exactly what we just saw there from Mark, and that's exactly what happened. He came around, he had a little bit too much spring load still in the right hand direction. The car wasn't quite settled out, and that extra shift of weight, probably a little bit of fuel moved over in the tank there, and that was just enough to make the rear end rotate just a little bit further than the front of the car, and that was what we've seen that slow hand spin from. So that is my best assessment of what we saw there from Mark. It's unfortunate, but that's racing, man. It happens, and sometimes you can catch it, sometimes it just catches you off guard. I think that just caught him off guard there. We got Mike 1972 still battling out with Hair Razor here for 6th place as well, and Mike again just has a little more top end than Hair Razor right now, because Hair Razor again carrying just a little extra weight. We got Type R there in 8th, we got Bar in 9th, we got Mark here in 10th position. Again, the damage is definitely going to factor into the rest of his race here. The bigger question is, does he make the pit stop and fix it, or does he just tough it out here for the last 4 minutes, bring the thing into pit lane, get that car all rectified and ready for round 2 racing in a couple weeks time? Probably what we're going to see there from Mark, most likely. So it is Ten Tenths leading the charge, having a great race here. Supra in 2nd position, and 5.5 seconds. So I mean, seemingly the top 3 right now looking in pretty good position here, but we've seen some pretty crazy stuff in this race, and anything can happen in the next 3.5 minutes. We'll leave it at that. Pickham's here in 4th place, got 8.4 in behind Jay. We got Doug here trying to close in on Pickham's. 3.2 seconds here is the gap. We're going to be monitoring that. Mike is still holding Hair Razor off here, and I mean, that gap is not too big there. It's about a car length between the two drivers, and it's been like that here for the last 5 or 6 laps here so far in the stint. Type R here 5.6 seconds in behind. Bar still just trying to close in here. He's just kind of outside the slipstream range of Type R here right now, so it really is just going to be a couple of good exits better than Type R, and he should be able to get into that toe, as we call it as racers, because it's exactly that. It gives you just free speed. It pulls you into the car and behind you for free, essentially. Soupy Mark here in 10th position. We got TDC here in 11th, and Tyrone Kobe here in 12th place. And huge credit to these 2 drivers and Mark as well. All 3 suffering damage-related incidents, self-induced incidents, and you know what? They're still out there nursing those cars around, collecting what points they can here today. And like I said, they'll just get those things back in the garage. They'll get that car fixed up, and they'll be ready to go in 2 weeks' time again. So this Supra here, 5.4 seconds to gap, doing a good job at just maintaining pace at this point. Ten Tenths is just on a different level currently right now than the rest of the field. He's locked in, he's dialed, and he is just racing. He's just doing his thing, trying to take that checkered flag first. Got Pickham's here 4th place, 8.2. Doug is about 3.8. So yeah, we're kind of seeing the race looking like the race is where it is. We do have Bar has closed in on Type R, so we did talk about how Bar just needs a couple better exits in Type R to get in that slipstream, and that is most certainly looking like to be the case here. He got a good run out of that big straight there, and was able to pull about a half a second back in on Type R, so he's just on the edge of the slipstream here with a minute and a half remaining. This is probably the final lap for these drivers. So he's got about half a lap to try and make something happen there if he wants an extra position before the end of this race. Ten Tenths here may very well get a victory lap in a sense here as he comes around. We'll have to wait and see, as they're about the halfway point of the racetrack. Aurora, or Big Bank Corner, as many of you know it as, is about the midway point of the Maggiore GP circuit here. And Supra's doing a great job here in 2nd place. He's looked real good here today. Jay said here in 3rd position, with Pickham's chasing in 4th place. Doug Burrow here in 5th, with Mike 1972 in 6th place. And again, the gaps are just big enough here. Hair Razor could still potentially attack here. We'll have to wait and see how it happens. And Bar 27 also potentially could attack here as well. So we're going to stick with our race leader here as he's coming around the final corner here. Definitely going to get another lap around. Has no issue on the fuel here, and should be a victory lap essentially for Ten Tenths here. But it looks like about the first half of the field should get one more time around. The Supra comes around the final corner. It'll be final lap here for Supra as well. So great pace being shown here from the racers today, and oof, Big wide exit there from Jay, and it's going to be one more to go here for Jay set as well as he comes across that start finish line. Pigham's here, he should get one more to go here as well as he comes around, which means Doug in behind should also get one more to go as he's just under the wire there on that timer. It's going to be 2 seconds as he crosses the line, so that means these two may get another shot here. Nope, that is it. They're going to wave that checkered flag. Mike in 6th, Hairraiser in 7th. It's going to be Type Art coming home here in 8th place with Bar 27 in 9th, and those 4 drivers got real close to each other there at the end. We got Subi Mark coming around here. It's going to be 10th place for him, but he is currently holding fastest lap on the racetrack. We've got Trone Kobe here. He's going to come around, bring it home here in 11th place, and it was unfortunate. Trone was having a great start to this race here today, and just a tough day out on the racetrack here at Maggiore from Trone Kobe, and not ultimately probably the result he was hoping for here today, but he'll be back out in 2 weeks' time, and he'll give it another go, that's for sure. So Trone Kobe's going to bring it home here in 11th place, and he's very closely followed there by TDC Gaming in 12th position. So let's get back up front here. As the back half of our field has finished their race on lap number 10, the remainder of our field, the front half of the field, is on their final lap, and I don't foresee any battling happening. Everybody is good on fuel. It comes down to each driver behind the wheel at this point here to see how this race finishes now. So we are going to sit on board with 1010 here as he is about 1 corner away from a race to victory here for himself. He's going to start on pole, and he's going to bring this thing home in first place, start to finish, led this race all 20 minutes. Congratulations to 1010 Fish 27. Great race there from him. Superboy's going to bring it home here in 2nd position. He had a pretty good start to the first race. Some unfortunate stuff happening in that race. We put it a little bit further back in the pack, but a great race here, and he's going to bring it home in 2nd place. J-Set is going to come across the line here in 3rd place. He does have a half-second penalty, which means it will be a 1-second penalty when he crosses the line, but Pickups is about 10 seconds in behind, so there's no risk of losing that position due to time. Pickups is going to bring it home here in 4th place, and Doug Burrow here in 5th place and behind. So that's a great job by Pigham's, Doug, and Hairraiser, especially having extra ballast, extra weight added to their cars, still coming up in the top half of the field there. So you can see what that championship ballast does do in this championship. It really evens out the playing field for these racers. 1010 came in dead last place at race number 1 and absolutely drove away with race number 2. Great race there from 1010 and the rest of the field. So let's take a look at those official results here, as it is a 10-10 here in 1st place, Supra in 2nd, J-Set in 3rd place, Pickham's in 4th, Dugbro in 5th, Mike in 6th, Hairraiser in 7th, Type R in 8th. It's going to be Bar 27 in 9th place. It's going to be Subi Mark in 10th with the fastest lap on the racetrack of 55.379. It's going to be Trone Kobe here in 11th, and a TDC Gaming in 12th place. A little bit of a tough day for a couple of our drivers here, but there it is, the Red Bull Junior Championship Series starting here today. Dual sprint race format all season long for all you amazing viewers at home. And this is not going to be a series you're going to want to miss as these drivers continue to get more and more comfortable with these Red Bull Junior cars and the recent changes with the physics, suspension, and tires in the game. We are going to see even tighter and more intense battles as this series continues to go on. So congratulations to all of our racers and all of our podium finishers here today. Again, we are not going to run podium interviews here today. I have to decide how we're going to format that still with the dual sprint race format and time and all those things in between. So we will have some interviews for everybody next weekend. But again, congratulations to Doug Burrow, Hairraiser, and Pigham's for our top 3 in order, as I said it, for race number 1. Congratulations to 1010, Superboy, and J-Set in order, as said, for their podiums in race number 2. Absolutely spectacular racing here from all of our racers from the Gran Turismo racing community. I mean, what else can we say? That was a doozy. Big field here. We had a few of the drivers also unable to make it here today, so we definitely will potentially see some full grids here throughout the season as well, with a fat stack of fast racers here from the Gran Turismo racing community. Again, if you're just tuning in or if you're watching this later at your own convenience as a recorded video and you're interested in the Red Bull Junior Series or the Open Group 3 Championship Series as far as that goes, you can find the Gran Turismo racing community over on SimLeague Pro, www.simleaguepro.com, all lowercase, and it'll take you directly to their site. You can either use your Discord account if you have one to sign in, or you can sign in through an email account, which in my opinion is the better option. And from there, go search communities, search GTRC, and look for, of course, the Gran Turismo Racing Community banner and logo that you find on the YouTube channels, all our socials, and basically all over the stream. We appreciate it. And from there, there's a Discord invite and the direct gateway into our racing kingdom here at the Gran Turismo Racing Community. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for the likes, shares, and the comments. If you are watching live or pre-recorded, please do me a favor. Make sure to like, share the stream out. If you're new to the channel, you love what you see here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the little bell to get all your live notifications so you'll never miss another great moment from the Gran Turismo Racing Community or GT45 Gaming right here on Gran Turismo 7. We appreciate all the support week in and week out, and I hope you all enjoyed the races today. Leave us some feedback, let us know what you think, and we'll catch you all on the next one.